on the I Love CVille Show. It's a pleasure to connect with you through the I Love CVille Network. My phone is literally lighting up like a Christmas tree right now with information on the Rivanna Trail story we're going to cover on today's show. The Commonwealth's Attorney's Office has dropped the charges. A man has been exonerated, and now we ask, how do we get in this position? We'll talk about this story from every angle on today's program. I want to highlight Dino Hoxhaj opening a second MooThru ice cream at Nata in Crozet. And I want to celebrate one of Charlottesville's best entrepreneurs and small business owners. In fact, Dino, we should get you on the program. Why don't I text him right now? Hey, we should get you on the show. Next week to talk about this. Are you up for that? He gave me a heads up, a phone call, and a text message about a new location opening in the Nata brewery, one of our favorite breweries in Crozet. Judah, Dino now has four stalls at Dairy Market. Go ahead and put the artwork. Oh, it's on screen right now. The soft opening is tomorrow from 12 to 9 p.m. at Nata. He also has a Dino's Wood-Fired Pizza at Nata.
Nice, yeah.
He's got 4 stalls at Dairy Market, Judah.
Mm-hmm.
Two of the most, I'd say, the most recognizable stalls. When you walk into the main entrance of Dairy Market, you see Dino and you see MooThru. He's got Basta Pasta. He's got, of course, the Wood-Fired Pizza and Grill location, which has kind of got 2 stalls at the right angle, the MooThru. He utilizes the success he had at Dairy Market to now open points of sale at Nata, just a fantastic brewery in Crozet. We'll talk about this breaking news on today's program on the I Love CVille Show. Juan Sarmiento, I agree, it was quite shameful of the landlord. We're going to talk about that and how the man who was accused of groping a female runner on the Rivanna Trail went through so much pain and trouble, from housing to employer to press. We'll talk about that on today's show. I want to talk about Legend Brewery in Richmond. This is Richmond's oldest brewery. For the past 31 years, this Manchester-based brewery and restaurant has successfully sold beer, its most notable, the Legend Brown Ale. Currently, its land is for sale, and ownership and the executive team has said, we're willing to sell our assets and our recipes as well. They're going to capitalize on the development that's happening in the Manchester area and neighborhood. They have a primo piece of property, 1.3 acres, at 321 West 7th Street, which they put for sale. They highlight the headwinds of craft beer in influencing this decision. So we'll unpack this on today's edition of the I Love CVille Show. We have promised you the jurisdiction and neighborhood locally with the most upside. We will get to that topic on today's show as well. We promise it will happen today. We encourage you, the viewer and listener, to help shape the discussion. Ask questions. Let us know what's on your mind. This initial storyline, I think, is going to be one that has a lot of interest or a lot of opinion that we can relay live on the show. I wanted, Judah, if we could, highlight Charlottesville Business Brokers. Find Charlottesville Business Brokers online, charlottesvillebusinessbrokers.com. We love helping small and medium-sized businesses, locally owned businesses, either buy and sell their models. We recently helped broker the sale of Croby's restaurant in the Food Lion Shopping Center on Avon Extended. And we're very excited for the new restaurant that will open there in the very near future. We will wait for our client to make the announcement of what's to come, but I'm going to tell you it's something that's going to be absolutely dynamite and well received by Southside Charlottesville, that Mill Creek, Lake Renovia area, which has so many houses right around the corner from the Food Lion Shopping Center. Judah Wickhauer is the director and producer of this fine and fair talk show. If we can go to a two-shot, my friend. And I thought it worked extremely well yesterday. We set the stage. You set the table for storyline on yesterday's program. This is a tough one. Let's use lower thirds on screen so folks know what we're talking about. I'll get out of your way. A Cosner Brothers security camera captured evidence that lingered on a shelf in the police department for months, almost 4, before making its way to the Commonwealth's Attorney's Office.
I mean, the whole thing is a mess, and reading different people's versions of it, from Hawes Spencer in the Daily Progress to other reports on like WINA and other places. The whole thing just seems like a bit of a quagmire. The timing is nuts, and I think my biggest problem with this whole thing is that it sounds like, I mean, there was no lineup.
I mean, the lineup was pictures sent to the police department from a local running group.
Yeah,
A local running group who utilized what they thought were detective skills to identify someone they thought was groping female runners on the Rivanna Trail.
And when they sent her the photo, she said, that's the guy that did it. Of course, anybody I would think that anyone in police work, anyone in defending or prosecuting someone knows how faulty our memories can be. We've got a bias towards things that when somebody shows you a picture, it can change the way you think about things. And this sounds like there just wasn't enough due diligence done in this case. And sadly, the victim here is turning out to be McNamara. Not to downplay this woman getting groped on the trail, but I don't believe her life was upended as much as his was.
The McNamara he's referencing is Patrick McNamara. I'm hesitant to even mention his name here because it continues his position in the news cycle, but it's important to say Patrick McNamara is innocent. He's been exonerated.
Yeah.
Here's pretty much what's happened. Judah set the table well. Female runner groped on the Rivanna Trail by unknown male. Mm-hmm. Running group in Charlottesville tries to do their best. Sherlock Holmes and Nancy Drew. They think they've identified the alleged groper. They find photos of the alleged groper. They show it to the female that was groped. She says, that's the guy, as Judah said, and that led to the arrest of Patrick McNamara. McNamara from day one claimed his innocence. He said, I don't own jackets. Literally said that. He does not own jackets. He certainly doesn't own a white puffy jacket, he said. Furthermore, he said he was on a video call, a conference video, a Zoom with, or a Teams or a Skype with co-workers at the time. Those co-workers justified that.
I'm wondering if that was during one of the other alleged incidents, because the timetable on this whole the incident with the one woman that we're discussing is very odd. And maybe it's just confusion in the part of some of the reporting, but it's just very strange. And I'm not trying to say that anything is wrong here, but it just seems very odd. There's discussion about the Cosner Brothers body shop video evidence. It says here 3 videos show McNamara and the victim passing one another uneventfully about remember this, 3 minutes before the attack, whose time was pinpointed by the woman's text messages and her running app. It's noted that the GPS from McNamara's phone seized the day of his arrest, and key fob data from his apartment building on nearby River Road shows that McNamara was back at his dwelling at the time she was reportedly grabbed. So 3 minutes after a video shows him passing her, he's back in his apartment and on a video call. I mean, I know he's close, but that seems really, really tight.
It could be what you said.
And it could just be the reporting, or somebody has the sequence of events a little bit off. But then they note that the videos don't simply create reasonable doubt. They demonstrate without question what McNamara maintained all along, that he was innocent. And then they go on to point out that the victim alleged that her attacker was wearing a puffy white jacket, but the videos clearly show he was wearing a dark hooded sweatshirt, and they found no jackets in his apartment. And here's another strange part. Another man can be seen a few minutes later walking through the frame from the direction of the attack and wearing a puffy white jacket. The man in the jacket can be seen lingering in view of the cameras for about 15 minutes chatting with other people.
This led to his landlord, Management Services Corporation, initiating eviction proceedings against him. Mm-hmm. A spokesman for MSC, as Hall Spencer has reported, named Stephen Colvin, emailed Hawes yesterday that those eviction proceedings will be dropped.
Yeah. I believe his business also put him on suspension.
I mean, a case of mistaken identity that is about as bad a case of mistaken identity that you can find, and the mistaken identity, Judah, could have been corrected fairly easily.
And a long time ago.
Set the stage.
Apparently the prosecution did not have the video. There's this from CVille right now. They have links to both of the motions to dismiss. One from Platania and one from McNamara's own lawyer. And I'm reading now from the Platania motion to dismiss. He says that they didn't even know about the video. The Charlottesville Police Department obtained a search warrant, blah, blah, blah. The individual that collected the video, this is the video from Cosner Brothers Body Shop, was requested from the business on January 18th, collected on January 22nd. the individual that collected the video never prepared a supplement documenting its collection. He reviewed the video and told the case agent that nothing of value was captured on it. The video was never turned over to the Commonwealth, and therefore this office had no knowledge of its existence until April 9th, 2024. Once made aware of its existence, the Commonwealth immediately made a copy of the video and turned it over to Defense Counsel. The video shows a section of the trail immediately adjacent to Freebridge. A person that appears to be McNamara, wearing a black hooded sweatshirt and dark pants, is walking on the trail. And then goes on to talk about the other person that goes by in a white puffy jacket, and then ends saying, "There is no longer proof beyond a reasonable doubt to support this prosecution."
The first question that we should ask is, why did it take so long for the video from Costner Brothers to get to the Commonwealth's Attorney's Office?
Yeah.
That's the first question we should ask. That's a fair question.
Mm-hmm.
A very fair question. The second question that we should also ask is, did that video not make it to the Commonwealth's Attorney's Office for any reason in particular?
Yeah.
Another question that we should ask is, what's next? Will we see a lawsuit from Mr. McNamara?
I have no doubt that we will.
I have no doubt we will see a lawsuit as well. The reasons he has for a lawsuit are to further clear his name. The reason he asked for a lawsuit is for damages to his future.
Emotional damages. I mean,
Professional, emotional.
definitely professional.
His fiance went through this with him.
No doubt.
If you're the city of Charlottesville, you're going to want to settle this as quickly as possible. We may not know the payout to Mr. McNamara. We probably will not.
Mm-hmm.
I would think that he is going to hire an attorney that specializes in this, like this morning, a few hours ago, if not very soon. The next steps we should talk about on the show is how this impacts perception and trust within the community. If you watch this show, you know that I support and back the blue, as does Judah.
Yeah.
And if you watch this program, you know I have said many times that there's one person in this community that has done the most positive change over the last 13 or 14 months, and that's Chief Kochis. I stand by that statement. I think this particular set of circumstances is going to be misconstrued by those who have beef with the police. And if you check the social media platforms like Twitter, this set of circumstances is being utilized by those that are against Flock, the license plate reader cameras. And they're saying, if these types of mistakes of mistaken identity can happen, why are we going to further, why are we going to potentially give the police more opportunity through license plate readers to make mistakes or breach identities, compromise identities? And I say that's not a fair correlation.
I don't think it is either.
I don't think what happened in this particular circumstance is indicative of the department across the board.
Mm.
You wonder if this is a case of clerical misjudgment. 4 months seems to be a very long time to be a judgment error or a clerical error. Furthermore, the running group lineup, here's the picture of the guy, the runner saying that's the guy, that's Bush League.
Yeah, no doubt.
And identification tactics. But I think the city of Charlottesville right here, and even more in particular, taxpayers in the city of Charlottesville, are on the hook for a large sum of money.
Yeah. And if nothing else, this should not have gone
This long.
Not even this long. This shouldn't have gotten out. There shouldn't have been. This guy's picture shouldn't have been pasted on newspapers and social media, and his accusation shouldn't have been made public until they had something they thought they were sure with. And I can't imagine that they thought this was a sure thing. I know that they may have come out and said some things about it, but I don't know.
You need to check the YouTube feed, viewers and listeners are saying. Please, if you could. Thank you kindly. Thank you, Daniel. Weird. What is the gentleman's name? Daniel Cantonen for letting us know that. Thank you. Or Dennis Cantonen. He says the YouTube feed stopped. Thank you, Dennis. Juan Sarmiento, Judah, we'll get that up, says it's shameful that his landlord did this to him before he was found guilty. The eviction process.
Yeah.
Deep Throat has these comments. You get Juan Sarmiento's photo on screen when you can. Deep Throat says this. This is obviously a huge screwed up. Number one in the family says. He says, I'm not going to trust that this was actually Charlottesville Police Department's fault and not the Commonwealth Attorney's fault. Deep Throat says he could easily see the Commonwealth's attorney throwing the Charlottesville Police Department under the bus. He also agrees with us that maybe next time don't trust the investigative efforts of would-be Nancy Drews from a running group.
Yeah.
He says, yes, you obviously could expect a lawsuit. And then he says, expect that city council will say, don't worry, our insurance will pay for this. And he says the VRSA premiums are now up to $1.6 million per year for the city of Charlottesville, and VRSA covers basically every city, town, and authority in the Commonwealth. Their total premium take is only like $65 million for everyone in the Commonwealth, and $1.6 is from the city of Charlottesville. He says it's crazy how high our premium is, given how small our population is. That's from Deep Throat.
Yeah. Well, there was recently a $5 million payout for something else in the city, and I'm not surprised the premium is so high.
John Blair's got some highlights on our next topic that we're going to talk about, and he gives props to Dino and MooThru. We'll cover that in a matter of moments. John Blair, we hope you have a nice weekend as well. Does the Commonwealth's attorney and the police need to do a press conference?
I think obviously, I don't know that they're going to listen to our advice, but I think it would be great so that we could understand this whole snafu a little better.
And what measures can be taken so it does not happen again?
Yeah.
Transparency, the transparency and communication piece. You got the YouTube back up and running?
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you. YouTube back up and running for those that are watching there. Do you agree with me that this has no tie to Flock?
Yeah, I'd even say that it's trying to tie it to Flock is a serious misstep. That's like saying that the Cosner Brothers body shop shouldn't have a video camera. In which case, we would have even less knowledge about what actually happened in this case. The Flock cameras, they're taking photos of people's license plates, and if that helps cops catch criminals like this guy who they're currently chasing after, who murdered a man recently, then
a 31-year-old father.
Then I think it's, generally speaking, a good thing. As I mentioned before, Police Chief Conscious gave a gave a description of what the flock cameras do and how they work. I do not believe this is a system that is going to be easily taken advantage of, and I think it'll be a good tool for speeding up the process of finding someone like hopefully the murderer.
Yeah, I concur. We'll follow the story closely. Follow the story closely on the show, and we'll see how it materializes. I would think maybe the next press conference you're going to see, it's going to play out like this potentially. The next statement that we may see could be from Patrick McNamara's attorney, who initiates the lawsuit, with Mr. McNamara standing by his side and local media covering the event. Alternatively, we could see a presser from the Commonwealth's Attorney's Office or the police department offering more perspective.
Yeah.
I'm curious how council will handle this. Furthermore, I'm curious if City Manager Sam Sanders will offer his thoughts. Mr. Sanders, the CEO of the city. So a lot of moving parts here. And something that brings council into the mix, the city manager's office into the mix, Commonwealth's attorney's office into the mix, police department into the mix, and something that should be followed closely by the community.
Yeah.
Viewers and listeners, let us know your thoughts on this, and we will relay them live on air on the talk show. Maggie Gunnels, thank you for watching the program. Dino's response to the text and said, absolutely, would love to come on the program. Dino, we appreciate that. In fact, that could be a great, Janice Boyce Trevelyan, welcome to the show. Thank you for watching the program. That would be a great segue for us into something, a different topic. And before we do, this from Deep Throat, he says, the anti-police people are always on about how police and witnesses are all biased. And he says flock cameras are not biased.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
He said they should be happy to have them as they exonerate people as easily as convict them. If bias is an issue, objective photos will do more exonerating than convicting. Exactly.
Just like this video.
Just like this video. Exactly. This video, if anything, is a testament of what Flock can provide.
Yeah. And it's not, Flock is not videoing everybody that drives around Charlottesville and keeping tabs on them, and
it's specifically
and
a make and model or a like of a car that's called in.
Yeah, and if you're looking for that particular make and model, and you, especially if you happen to have a license plate, but even if you don't, it's a lot better to search for one white or red or green car
instead of a needle in a haystack
that was seen in a neighborhood than it is to
a needle in a haystack.
Yeah.
Every car in the city.
And in some cases, in the case of, say, I'm not going to speculate, but in some cases, time is most definitely of the essence. And I don't see this as...
I mean, you can make an argument in this case, time was of the essence.
Definitely. If the video had been shown to the prosecutors earlier, this may have been dropped months ago. Or it may never have even become...
There! Or it may never have become anything. Probably would not have become anything.
Yeah.
Right?
Seems very likely.
Yeah. And a mistake like this may cause a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
All right. The next topic on the show is one of positivity. If you can get the lower third on screen. You want to set the stage on this one? Or should I? Dino.
Hold on.
I was.
Dino is the man?
No, I thought you were going to throw in his last name for us.
Oh, Hoxhaj.
Opens a MooThru in Pro Renata.
Yeah.
How awesome is this?
Mm-hmm.
If you've been to Pro Renata in Crozet, you know it's a very family-friendly environment. They have a playground.
Yeah.
A playground at the brewery.
Mm-hmm.
They have axe throwing. They have fire pits. They have vast open space. They have one of the best live music venues with some of the best acoustics and dancing floor space in the entire region. Dr. John Shabe and his team at Renata understand the concept of creating an omni-experiential epicenter for humans of all ages, not just alcohol drinkers, but humans of all ages to enjoy their space. They have good beer. They have great food. They have a playground. They have axe throwing. They have fantastic live music that's booked by Brian Combs with some of the best in the region playing there on a regular basis.
Yeah.
It's set at the foothills of the Blue Ridge where you got one of the most beautiful views of any brewery out there. And this omni-experiential outing has improved with what we think is news you are hearing for the first time. Dino
Hoxhaj
is opening a second location of MooThru in Dr. John Shabe's brewery. So props to Dino. We should celebrate Dino on the show. This guy goes from the Rio Hill Shopping Center,
Yeah.
where he buys a pizza and salad bar business in Rio Hill. That's when we first met him.
Mm-hmm.
He decides, after running this business with his family, to say, I'm going to sell in the Rio Hill Shopping Center my business, and I'm going to go to this new market, a new food hall, one that wasn't even built yet in Dairy Market.
Mm.
And I'm going to open a wood-fired pizza and rotisserie chicken stall in Dairy Market and follow the lead of Chris Henry and Stony Point Development. We'll give you a little background on this. When Dairy Market opened in the old Monticello Dairy building, previously it was Sharky's Bar and Grill there. Previously it was the Splat House over there, paintball gun you could do. There was, or a laser tag, excuse me. There was a Latin bodega in that strip.
Grady's.
McGrady's was there.
Grady's.
Cho's was there.
Yeah. We took some video there.
There was a battery store there that sold car batteries, a Batteries Plus type store. And Mr. Henry and Mr. Paul Manning, they purchased the Monticello Dairy, and they say, you know what? With some encouragement from Johnny Pritzloff, who is a commercial broker with Tolheimer, and Mr. Pritzloff is one of the best in the business. I hope that gets back to Johnny Pritzloff. I sincerely mean that. John Pritzloff is one of the best commercial brokers in the business. They decide, after, I believe, taking a trip to the Atlanta area, if memory serves correct, to open a food hall in the Monticello Dairy location. And this food hall had financial backing, it had vision, it had a great development team behind it, but it had some bad luck at its start. Do you know what that bad luck was?
I don't specifically remember.
COVID.
Oh, yeah.
The pandemic.
No doubt.
It opens right at the start of COVID and the pandemic. Mm-hmm. And what does a food hall not offer during a once-in-a-lifetime pandemic? Outside open air space. It's inside. So Dino
Hoxhaj
opens a rotisserie fried chicken joint and a wood-fired pizza joint right at the beginning of COVID, along with a number of other merchants. Some still there. Take It Away Sandwich Shop, still there. Some no longer there. Angelique's gone.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, you know what? I'm going to withstand this pandemic and I'm going to have success here. And he did. Mm-hmm. So much success that Dino had that he said, you know what? I'm going to open a third stall there, Basta Pasta.
Yeah.
So much success that he chooses to buy the MooThru ice cream stall across from his wood-fired joint. Mm-hmm. He owns 4 stalls, 2 of the most visible.
Yeah. In an environment that has not proved all the not everybody has proven successful there.
I think that's fair. That's fair.
And he's expanding.
I think that's fair. His pizza's fantastic. We had his pizza on Dino. We had your pizza on Sunday.
Nice.
My mother-in-law, father-in-law, and our 2 boys. We had your pizza on Sunday. We brought it to Star Hill, and then to Dairy Market. He uses Dairy Market as a springboard to open another Dino's inside Pro Renata in Crozet. And now he's opening after 5 months of conversating and working out red tape with the Department of Agriculture. 5 months of red tape and bureaucracy, he gets final approval to open up a second MooThru at Pro Renata. Let's put that graphic back on screen. The soft opening tomorrow, 12 to 9 p.m. I think he's going to crush it here. MooThru is really good ice cream. My son loves the cookie dough with some gummy bears. I end up eating about half of it. The dad ice cream tax and candy tax, the best tax of them all. What's that?
Gummy bears?
Oh, he loves gummy bears.
With what?
With cookie dough ice cream.
Oh my goodness.
He loves it. He absolutely loves it. So if you're just tuning into the program, Crozet, giddy up and get ready. And that's a perfect segue into what John Blair just said, that he believes, if you want to get Mr. Blair's photo on screen, that he believes the community with the most upside in Central Virginia is Crozet. MooThru is one example. Another example is Texas Roadhouse coming to Waynesboro, along with an Olive Garden. Crozet has the best schools in the area. It also has the advantage of being able to now take 10 to 15-minute ride to Waynesboro for retail and restaurant runs, in addition to the restaurants in Crozet. A lot of people would make that argument that Crozet has the most upside of any jurisdiction in the area. We'll have that conversation as we segue into our next topic. Albert Graves, welcome to the program. Thank you kindly for watching the show. We've teased this topic for a number of times. What's the lower third you're going to put on screen?
Let's see. I think we're going into what jurisdiction has most upside in Central VA?
Which one do you think has the most upside? Judah Wickower.
I mean, it's hard to argue with
Mr. Blair?
With his reasoning. And I don't really know. In terms of upside, I'm not really. I don't know that I'm knowledgeable enough. I would say that.
Yes, you do. You live here.
Yeah.
Which neighborhood or which jurisdiction? You go to Waynesboro.
Not
you drive through Albemarle County in the city of Charlottesville, don't you?
Occasionally.
You live in Albemarle. You work in the city. Your friends are in Waynesboro.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll talk Crozet. He's got schools on his side. He's got the proximity to Waynesboro, which is booming on his side. He's got the Blue Ridge Mountains on his side. Mm-hmm. He's got blowing up restaurant scene on his side. He's got Old Trail on his side. He's got the proximity to the interstate for transportation and getting around easily on his side. Crozet's got serious upside.
No doubt.
Is the jurisdiction with the most upside, and as a result, the neighborhood with the most upside in Central Virginia, however, more in the eastern portion of Central Virginia instead of the west, Crozet. And the one I'm going to highlight is Louisa County. Upside, the word upside, by definition, means it's not peaked yet.
Right.
Can we make an argument that Crozet, which is lovely, charming, safe, fantastic schools, all the superlatives I've given him, can we make the definition or the argument that Crozet has reached potentially its ceiling? We know what we're going to get with Crozet today, and it's not going to change that much. Upside would be the positive movement upward. Can we make a legitimate argument that the jurisdiction with the most upside and the neighborhood with the most upside is Louisa County and Spring Creek? I'll make a case for Louisa and Spring Creek. Are you ready? Louisa County has got housing affordability for now. Louisa County has a board of supervisors, my friend Fitzgerald Barnes on that board, that is committed to economic development and being physically conservative with taxpayer dollars and taxpayer demands. Louisa County has got $11 billion coming from Amazon. $11 billion.
Yeah.
Louisa County has Walmart distribution, has that Lowe's, Walmart epicenter. It's got restaurants coming. Spring Creek, we talk neighborhood with the most upside, still has another 400 or 500 houses to develop.
Nice.
Old Trail's at close to capacity. Spring Creek, I think the number is between 400 and 600 houses still to be developed in Spring Creek. Its golf course was just purchased by a Northern Virginia outfit out of Herndon. We'll see what the pros and cons of that are. But I can make a very compelling argument, and I hope I'm doing it, that Louisa, because of governance, Louisa, because of proximity between Charlottesville and Richmond and proximity to the interstate, Louisa, because of housing affordability, Louisa, because of schools. Louisa's schools, I've been in this community for almost 24 years, and it's educators like Doug Straley, who is now the superintendent of schools, a football coach that's passed away, Mark Fisher. This school system has done in a complete about-face with its performance. Louisa, one of the first schools to open during COVID. When Albemarle and the city of Charlottesville, their public school systems were still on lockdown, students staying at home, learning their 1, 2, 3s and their ABCs and their BVDs, Louisa opened and said, come back to the classroom. And a lot of folks moved into the Louisa school system because of that.
Wow.
All those factors, improved schools, housing affordability, responsible governance, responsible taxpayer demands, $11 billion from Amazon, restaurant scene, jobs, proximity to Charlottesville and Albemarle, proximity to the interstate, a booming community in Spring Creek with 400 to 600 homes still to be developed, the Amazon $11 billion. I think that might be the jurisdiction and the neighborhood with the most upside in Central Virginia. I'm curious of your thoughts, and if you guys agree or disagree, let me know. We'll relay it live on air on the I Love CVille show. But I think you have significant tailwinds and momentum if you're a Louisa County resident right now. And I would bet some of the OG in Louisa County is saying, oh my goodness gracious, he's right. Are we about to gentrify and change big time? Is Louisa, I asked this question.
Get ready.
Is Louisa what Crozet was in 2000?
Could be, yeah.
Crozet in 2000 could be what Louisa is in 2024. In 24 years, 2048, will Louisa look like Crozet, middle, upper class, escalating real estate values, thriving economy, restaurants, breweries, wineries? And another thing, with the housing affordability, are we going to see a lot of the frontline workers move from Charlottesville to Albemarle to a jurisdiction like Louisa, which would further spring or trampoline new restaurant creation because the labor pool is there?
Yeah, no doubt.
Anything you want to add to that?
I don't think there's anything I can add.
Juan Sarmiento lives in Louisa.
You and John both make good points for
John makes great points.
Both of those regions.
John Blair, there's no right answer. John Blair makes great points.
Exactly.
All right, set the stage for the next headline, my friend.
Oh, let's see what it is.
And if you could get the lower third on screen, that'd be fantastic.
What city neighborhood has the most upside right now?
Well, we just talked that with Spring Creek.
Okay.
Albert Graves says, Crozet schools, Albert Graves, his photo on screen. Crozet schools are overcrowded and it does not have the infrastructure to handle all the new residents. Just come on out, enjoy the steady traffic jam on Crozet Avenue from 4 to 6 p.m. No new residents needed, please. Oh, and let's not forget about the property taxes. Then he highlights on Twitter, they keep moving to Crozet. This is what the future of Crozet looks like. Enjoy and thanks for killing the beautiful mountain. I think, what is this? Is this a solar panel field? Oh, no. This is just significant density he's highlighting.
That home after home after home?
These almost look like Lego homes. And
looks
then he
like
says...
the song from Weeds.
From what?
Weeds.
I love Nancy
Tiki-Taki?
Botwin from Weeds.
She's amazing.
She was fantastic in that
And that's a great
series.
song, too.
That's fantastic. And he concludes his Twitter thread by saying, 45 or more students to one teacher in Crozet schools. It's absolutely fantastic. Tongue in cheek, obviously. Deep Throat says it's 15% cheaper. And he says he thinks the high upside, 15% cheaper than CVille for a house. I think he's saying Louisa there. He says, I think the high upside places are going to be outside of Charlottesville City, but close enough to access it. That's what I think too. Get the amenities, spare yourself the terrible leadership, high taxes, and troubled schools and potential crime. He also says, I also would say you should consider the Richmond rebound in this. Places that have access to both Charlottesville and Richmond will become very attractive. On that basis, he thinks it's Louisa and Zion's Crossroads as well. I mean, if you work in Richmond or work in Charlottesville, or you have a spouse or partner that works in Richmond or Charlottesville, that is right in the middle. Yeah. We live in Keswick, and we can get to the Walmart and the Lowe's and to El Mariachi and to the ABC store and to the Chinese food restaurant in like 16 minutes from Keswick. Because we go Black Cat Road to the interstate. And also, on a Black Cat Road reference, shame on previous Board of Supervisors, Albemarle County, for kiboshing the Sutton brothers' attempt to open a Tiger Fuel on Black Cat Road. That Tiger Fuel on Black Cat Road, if they had approved that project, would have created between 25 and 30 jobs on Black Cat Road with the Tiger Fuel, a Bel Air type of business, and would have been fantastically supported by, what's the plural of Keswick? Folks that live in Keswick? Are they Keswickians?
I guess.
Neil Williamson watching the program. His photo on screen, please. Mr. Williamson says, for what it's worth, anecdotally, I know one parent who moved from Spring Creek to Crozet based on bus times for his kindergartner, 1 hour plus daily. I wonder if the young Mr. Miller would like such a bus ride. Young Mr. Miller would not like such a bus ride. He would. My fear would be he would be a terror in a 1 hour bus ride. Young Mr. Miller, who is full of energy. One of my favorite parts of the day, Judah, right there with spending the day with you. One of my favorite parts of the day is the 20 to 25 minute ride in the morning to drop my son off at school. I drive. He sits in the back in his booster seat. He can now pull the seatbelt in and buckle himself in. That was a big thing for him. Nice. In fact, the other day, he looked at the red button on the seatbelt, and he read PRESS, and he goes, press. He goes, Dad, this says press. He goes, I read this. Nice. And it made me so proud. And I just sit in the driver's seat. I'm driving the car while he's in the back seat, and I just like listen to him and answer his questions. This is what he asked me on the way to school today. You know Noah's Ark?
Yep.
He said, Dad, after they got off of Noah's Ark, what do they do with it? How do you answer that question?
They left it on the mountain.
This is what I said. I said, they repurposed the wood from Noah's Ark for housing.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I suppose they could have.
I said they dismantled the ark and they created homes for the people that were on the ark and shelter for the animals. The other day he asked me, what happens to all the animals that the cars hit on the roads and the cars kill? He goes, it's called roadkill, Dad.
Did you tell him about the cleanup crews?
I said the crows and the big birds that fly in the air eat the animals that get hit by the cars. And he goes, oh, so that helps clean the roads. I said, yes. He goes, that makes sense.
Yeah, vultures are important to our ecology.
That's what he said. Yeah. He goes, that makes sense.
There are also guys that drive around and pull a shovel out of the
But
truck
that has
and-
less appeal to a 6-year-old. He asked me this question, and I may have mentioned this on previous shows. He said, if God made Jesus and everything in the world, who made God? How do you answer that question?
I mean, nobody made God. He all things sprang from him.
I said, ask your teacher.
Ask your teacher. It depends on the school.
Rob Neal watching the program. Get Mr. Neal's photo on screen if you could. He says, for Louisa County, also commerce continuing to inch westward and short pump toward Goochland. Bingo. Louisa will benefit as a dual employment option. Yeah, 100% right. I learned this from Deep Throat the other day. God, I genuinely learned so much. Oh, get the photo on Twitter, on my Twitter thread. If you go to notifications right here, Albert Graves sent a photo. It's this photo here of picture from his home in Crozet from his drone.
Nice.
I'd love to show that to the viewers and listeners.
Hold on.
Let us know what's on screen. Albert Graves, you're making the program better. I learned this from Deep Throat the other day. Louisa County, let me see if I can find this. We were talking about the census. Oh, wait, here it is. 6% of Louisa County's employed population works in the city of Charlottesville. 6%. And he's utilizing the data from the U.S. Census to give these numbers. 6% of Louisa County's employed population works in the city of Charlottesville. Deep Throat sent that. He said, in addition, 11% work in Albemarle County. 22% of the population works in Louisa itself. And he said the underlying source data is the same one Census uses, longitudinal employer household dynamics.
Where was that photo?
That's photos if you click notifications on my Twitter feed. Right here.
Gotcha. There we go.
That's a picture of his drone. He's basically showing us a picture of Nancy Botwin in weeds from Showtime. Thank you for that, Deep Throat. And thank you for that, Albert Graves. And thank you for that, Rob Neal. We got to make sure Rob Neal's photo is on screen when you can. I know I'm asking a lot of you, Judah. I usually do. And you always rise to the occasion, my friend.
I had Rob Neal's photo on, but...
Oh, you did? Again. Thank you. That's good. Mr. Neal, thank you. Give me a thumbs up when that's on screen so I can tell you the viewers and listeners. And I'll close with this story. Legend Brewery, after 31 years... Legend is entering its 31st year in business. It's in Manchester, the Manchester area of Richmond. It's listed its 1.3-acre property at 321 West 7th Street for sale. This according to Richmond BizSense, online at richmondbizsense.com. The brewery has a restaurant complex and went on the market last month. It's the region's oldest brewery. Other local competitors are discussing purchasing Legend Brewery's recipes and assets. What's up, Jeff?
Some of them. It sounds like they're trying to keep the business going, and if I think worst case scenario would be selling the business for someone else to take over rather than just dissolving the company altogether.
See, I mean, maybe I'm wrong on this. I would think if you're another brewery and you're buying Legend, the best thing that you could potentially buy here is maybe its flagship beer, Legend Brown Ale, the recipe, and keep that beer in distribution on shelves or maybe weave it into your tap room. I think there's tremendous value there.
No doubt.
I think there's tremendous value in the assets, the beer-making equipment, potentially. I don't know how you value the Legend brand.
Yep.
Because if you buy the Legend brand, how do you weave that into your current brewery?
That's fair. I mean, yeah, if it was another brewery buying...
You could weave a beer, like the brown ale, or the equipment, but how do you weave another beer brand?
Yeah.
That would then essentially be running two separate businesses in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Granted, with the same personnel, but that would be extremely challenging.
And how do you get past the problems that they were dealing with themselves?
This brewery launched in 1994.
Yeah.
One of the things that stood out to me about this article was the generational shift its ownership group is saying in the beer consumption of humans, of consumers. They called it a generational shift in consumption habits of consumers, which led to them listing their property and selling the assets and potential recipes of their business.
Every time I've ever gone to Blackfriars Playhouse, I've always enjoyed sitting there with a Legend Brown.
You love brown ales. These are one of your favorite beers, right?
Yeah, Legend's great.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd say if it's one of my favorites.
No, but browns are.
I like browns.
Yeah.
And theirs is really good. So I hope I hope at the very least, Legend Brown will still be available for years and years to come. Did
you get Albert Graves' drone photo on screen?
No, but here it is.
It's on screen now?
Yeah.
Look at the screen. This is a picture of Crozet from Albert Graves' drone. I mean, there's a lot of housing. There's no question there's a lot of housing. All right, guys, it's the Friday edition of the show. We hope you enjoyed it. We work hard. If you could spread the gospel and let people know about the I Love CVille show, that would mean a lot to us. We don't ask anything except you like the show, share the show, interact with the show, spread the gospel. Thank you kindly for your viewership and your listenership. And remember, Dino's is happening at soft opening from 12 to 9 p.m., 12 p.m. to 9 p.m. tomorrow at Pro Renata. And we're truly, truly, truly grateful for you watching and listening to us. For Judah Wickower, I'm Jerry Miller. So long, everybody.